Hello, beans. Hello.
Welcome back to another part of this tiny bunny, and we're going to
Попался!
like continue where we left off. Sorry, I just woke up. Gotcha!
Да я сразу понял, что это ты.
I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head, with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, "But Dad, she's not some flashlight." But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, woven child.
А я все видела.
I saw
Да ну.
everything. Oh, really?
Что ты спрятал?
What did you hide? She was just like Mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice.
Ничего, просто...
It's nothing, just... Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked,
Ты что-то украл и теперь прячешь?
"You stole something and hid it there.
Ты вор?
Are you a thief?"
Что? Глупая.
What? Don't be stupid.
Ничего я не крал.
I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Olya should be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда.
Then show me.
Поклянись, что никому не скажешь. Тогда покажу.
Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Pioneer movement, an umbrella term for communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement. Okay.
Не говори так.
Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter.
Это чья-то варежка?
Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял. И сам потерялся.
A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself.
Теперь понимаешь, как опасно гулять в лесу, особенно детям?
Now you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right?
Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
He must be really cold out there.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will.
Участковый по домам ходит, всем фотографию его показывает.
The police are going house to house, showing this photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest?
Боится?
Are they scared? The question caught me off guard.
Милиционеры ничего не боятся.
The police aren't scared of anything.
И лес они прочесали.
They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later, for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket.
Если я сам найду пропавшего мальчика, нам, может, награду дадут.
We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself.
Кучу всякого, как в поле чудес.
A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune.
Клево же.
Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her.
А что, если эта сова его утащила?
What if the owl got him?
Ерунда.
Nonsense.
Не может сова поднять человека.
An owl won't be able to lift a human.
Ну вот что...
But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain.
Ты в лес не суйся. Мне кажется, он какой-то...
Stay away from the forest. I think it's...
Как бы сказать... Проклятый, что ли?
How should I put it? It's cursed or something.
Как в сказке?
Just like in a fairy tale?
Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window.
Я видела, как ты убегал.
I saw you running away.
За тобой
Someone
кто-то
was
гнался?
chasing you?
Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе.
You're lucky.
Меня вот мама не пускает даже на крыльцо.
Mom won't even let me go outside. Aww.
Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда не могу выйти.
I'm like a princess in the tower. Can't go anywhere.
Так и умру тут от скуки.
I'll die from boredom here.
Не придумывай.
You're wrong.
От скуки еще никто не умирал.
No one has ever died of boredom.
У тебя же есть я и мультики, а мама с папой скоро помирятся.
And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения?
You know what I would wish for on my next birthday?
Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились. И мы бы все вместе играли, как раньше.
I wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to.
Ага, а если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them in a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I can't read at the moment.
Вымотался я. Что-то не хочется.
I'm too tired. I don't want to.
Ну пойдем.
Come on.
Мне скучно одной, а мама занята все время.
It's so boring alone, and Mom is always busy.
Можно выбрать другой мультик, который ты еще не видел.
You can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть знаю.
I know all of our tapes by heart at this point.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел.
Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan.
Помнишь, ты уснул на середине?
Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it?
А там потом такое. Ну пойдем. Пойдем.
And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's
Давай
go.
попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
Should I tell you how it ends?
Утром расскажешь.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
Утром не захочу.
I won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
I know it. Let's play hide and seek.
Нет, Оль.
No, Olya.
Тогда нарисуй мне динозавра.
Then draw me a dino.
Оля, блин.
Olya, please.
Нарисуй, нарисуй.
Draw it, draw it.
Да оставь ты меня в покое!
Jesus Christ. Leave me alone already. I blurted out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. Oh, why would you shout at her, man? That's so sad. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me and shook. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть мультики. Только недолго.
Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit.
Уже не хочу.
I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна посмотрим.
Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну, обещаю.
I promise I won't.
А потом я тебе целого трицератопса нарисую.
And I'll draw you a full triceratops later.
Ура!
Hooray! Triceratops. That's cute.
Ну, почти.
Well, close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь, а я у мамы попрошу сгущенки с хлебом.
I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rerun the tape. Condensed milk and bread. That sounds nice, actually.
Только утром свежий привезли, как ты любишь.
The bread is fresh, just how you like it.
Неси, только аккуратнее, а то разольешь.
Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk,
Опять ругаться будут.
or you'll be yelled at again.
Спорим, не разолью.
Wanna bet I won't spill it?
Кассета где-то в тумбочке. Поищи пока.
The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Olya disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Let's see what we got here. Ah, the piggy bank. A piggy bank. Olya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Olya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olya doesn't sleep without it, and she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Oh, that's adorable. She has a Rubik's Cube. The scary window where Olya sees that accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The two warmed up, and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to the TV on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. What? It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really shows Soviet cartoons, and even now it's pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. I searched the cupboard. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. Aw, achievement. You spent the evening with your little sister. That's cute. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head, me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister's laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I notice that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us and Olya.
Ты не смотришь без меня?
You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes.
Нет,
No.
садись.
Come sit.
Мама с папой опять ругаются.
Mom and Dad are arguing again.
У них сейчас период такой.
They're going through rough times.
Глупый какой-то период.
Rough times are lame. Dude, you have no idea. I'm going through a rough time at the moment. It's not nice. Well, for now at least. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana.
Может, и нам родители собачку купят?
Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too. What is that? That looks scary as fuck.
Ага, как же.
Yeah, right.
В Небыляндии у меня будет своя собственная собака. И кошка. И попугайчик.
I'll have my own dog in the Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot. Olya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. You know what? I want to try this in real life. Condensed milk and bread. I don't know. I'm hungry now.
А у тебя все молочные зубы выпали?
Have you lost all your baby teeth?
Конечно.
Obviously. Olya frowned, deep in thought.
У Питера Пэна зубы молочные.
Peter Pan has baby teeth.
Вдруг со взрослыми зубами тебя не пустят в его страну?
What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth?
Мы что-нибудь обязательно придумаем.
We'll think of something.
Попросим папу исправить тебе возраст в паспорте.
We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport.
С чего это папа будет документы подделывать?
And why would Dad forge documents? Olya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full.
Будет. Мама говорила, что он так делал. А я подслушала.
He will. I heard Mom that he did that before.
Смотри, уши вырастут, как у Дамбо.
You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Olya got worried and touched her ears. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook, as if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Тоша, скорей, штору задерни!
Tosha, shut the curtains fast.
Зачем?
Why?
Никто же на тебя
No
не
one's
смотрит.
watching you.
Уже темно, а когда темнеет, прилетает сова.
It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I have goosebumps on my body now.
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches and scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что я напридумывала про сову.
Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up,
И папа считает, что раз я маленькая, это значит врушка.
and Dad too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small.
А сова есть.
But the owl exists.
Вот честная-пречестная, есть она.
Honestly, it does.
Ты же мне веришь,
You do believe me, right?
что она там и каждую ночь прилетает
That it comes every night and I swiftly grabbed Olya's hand and took her in the eye and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities?
Я тебе верю, слышишь?
Yes, I believe you, alright?
Ты только родителям больше не рассказывай про сову.
Just don't nag our parents about it anymore.
У них и так хлопот по горло, они только рассердятся.
They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you.
Ты мне говори, если что случится.
Come and tell me if anything
И в
happens.
окно не смотри.
And don't look out the window.
Но она хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
But it wants to look.
Перехочет.
Doesn't matter.
Притворись, что ее нет и не было никогда, что она выдумка, как родители говорят.
Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say.
Ей ждать надоест, она улетит.
You'll get tired of waiting and fly away. I sure fucking hope it does. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room.
Довольно баловства.
Enough playing around.
Завтра первый день в школе.
It's your first day at school tomorrow.
Ложись, тебе надо выспаться.
Go to bed, you should sleep properly.
Не хочешь же ты, чтобы тебя все дразнили Соней?
You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Gosh, Mom is a... I won't finish that sentence. Adults think everything is so simple. Not really. For me, everything is like overcomplicated. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and entangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come after all. The day I feared the most. The first day of a new school term. Episode 2. Time to play with you. Oh, sweet Jesus. I don't like the sound of that. New school, new teachers, and most importantly, new classmates who I always have trouble connecting with. like most other kids with glasses probably. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning the bedroom of my parents was silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. I didn't want to get the daddy's boy reputation from day one. My parents were probably still tucked in, dreaming about the good old days when everything was so simple and easy. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently sneaked out to the first floor so I wouldn't wake up anybody, especially the peacefully sleeping Oya. Oh God. I did my best to step on the middle of every floorboard. I used to play like this even in an old apartment. If my soles touched the space between floorboards, it counted as stepping into lava. The clock was spurring me on with its hand. I need to hurry. Faster, faster. I was too fast, so I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between floorboards. I needed to watch my step, to survive at any cost. Hippity hop like a frog jumping on molehills, like a fearful bunny in a grove full of wolves. I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat and drank it down with cold tea. My appetite was as good as of someone being led up the scaffold toward a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on two floorboards at the same time. Burned to a crisp, huh? I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes writhed in my belly. The fear of getting hit and being called nasty names. The clock clicked. Whoop. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. This darkness never fully left the houses around here. I took my time tying my shoes, buttoning up the puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. I rubbed my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of glass brought me any good fortune. Oh no. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. It licked up stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. I locked the front door with a long key that I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear this noose, afraid that I, being a total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. The wind whizzed on the other side of the gate. It invited me into my new life toward dubious adventures, and tagged along like an old buddy, pushing me in the back. White shadows at pines throughout covered a third of the clearing. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hid my nose in the coat's collar. I was squeezing through thin firebreak, my hair ruffled up and my hair back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. The snow blanket rustled under my feet, and the canopy of intertwined branches above my head cut me off from the already sparse starlight. The night had no plans of moving away from the forest. In this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with holes in the middle as their mouths. If I lost focus even for a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest's depths. Even my parents would be walking around these parts screaming my name, but the dead can't answer the living. Jesus Christ. That scared me a little bit. Or can they? A sense of panic was growing in my chest. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands by now if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up in the ravines like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. Soon as I started walking faster, I heard the snow squeak behind me. The forest took a deep breath with its giant lungs. The windfall cracked. The wind and the birds were left behind, and the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listening closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger, as if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. Oh God. A tiny trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. Tree branches overlapped, forming a natural tunnel.
Есть здесь кто?
Who's there? The question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending creaking sound of the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? I'm either going mad, or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Distant lights granted me a smidgen of hope. A country road. I ran there as fast as I could, as if afraid that the trail would shrink. Clawed hands would grip me by the shoulders, turn me around, and make me look at the faces of hungry forest denizens. In the end, nobody stopped me. I almost flew to the decrepit wooden bridge, disbelieving my luck. The bridge's supports bathed in a spring, tearing and ice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest, then snorted, trying to calm my breath. The thicket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful, lifeless. The remaining part of my commute lied through a snow-laden road, illuminated by sparse lamplights. I chased away bad thoughts and ran as fast as I could from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electric lamps. Just like in that game where you need to be the first to proclaim unprotected. Tag. Oh, okay, it's called tag. Kids game where one player needs to tag other players by touching them with their hand, making them it. In certain circles, normally called the ghoul, players can stay safe from tagging. Oh, okay, I never knew that. It's just in this case that protection was flimsy at best, with darkness writhing outside its bounds. Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. I am backing away. In a place where the light from an inclined lamp couldn't reach, a hairy crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. It almost felt like its features deterred light. Its unnatural pose instilled fear. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I just stood there, blinking, trying to chase away that illusion. But the shadow didn't disappear and even got closer. My insides were gripped by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a snow pile. The black silhouette, on the other hand, straightened up and addressed me in a sweet voice.
Чего крадешься? Душу мою украсть хочешь?
Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul? Words got stuck in my throat. You could be talking in such a silky voice here, between the forest and the dormant village.
Чего молчишь, несмышленыш?
Will you say something, dummy?
Язык вырвали?
A cat got your tongue?
Слушай, а я тебе еще и нос откушу.
Alright, I'll bite off your nose then.
Будешь знать, как совать его в чужие дела.
That'll teach you to not poke it in places it doesn't belong. The girl stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette. But I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl, for noticing a gaping mouth under her hood, with something dangerously shiny inside. I was stunned. From the cavity of her hood, a frightening real fox mask was staring straight at me. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. A mask. It's just a girl with a fox mask on. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept onto my
А
face.
я
I was just
просто в школу иду, а тут ты.
going to school and then you.
Что я?
What about me?
Никогда не видел, как лиса собаку кормит?
Never seen a fox feed a dog. Oh, the dog. And intended, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs. One of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably.
Извини, я не хотел.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowered its ears, sniffed me out, and then started wagging its tail. I guess I still smelled of bologna that I ate for breakfast. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scary anymore, just weird.
Значит, не хотел.
So you didn't mean to, huh?
Как тебя зовут?
What's your name?
Меня Антон.
I'm
А
Anton.
тебя?
And you?
А меня нет.
And I'm not. Damn. She's weird. Definitely has a couple loose screws. But she has a nice voice. My astonishment has turned into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I didn't know was definitely human, if a bit eccentric. I was also a bit angry at myself. This fox girl was walking through the darkness without problem, and I shuddered from every little sound. I could just walk away, but this girl had piqued my interest. The next time a police officer asks me about my friends at the new place, I'll tell them that I befriended a talking fox.
Ты здесь живешь?
Do you live around here?
В поселке?
In the village? The fox giggled and purred. She spun around so hard the hem of her coat lifted up.
Нет, глупый.
No, dummy.
Лисы не живут в поселках.
Foxes don't live in villages.
Хочешь сказать, ты живешь в лесу?
So you live in the forest then?
Из какой норы ты вылез?
Have you been living under a rock?
Конечно. Лисам среди людей не выжить.
It's obvious that foxes can't survive anywhere near humans,
Пока они lисы.
as long as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird. Just like her carnival mask, paper mache with fur glued onto it. A dog reminded us of his existence with a loud bark. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge. Cookies, apples, or even my favorite crab crab sticks. Fuck, I can't read. He called it a gift from the bunny. The stray strolled toward me with menacing footsteps, with a pleading look in its eyes. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry.
Зачем ты так вырядилась с утра пораньше?
Why you dress like this early in the morning?
На утренник идешь?
Going to a costume party? The girl shrugged, throwing silvery snowflakes onto her nose, and her human form along with them, turning into a genuine beast. A real fox, agile, cunning, dangerous. A moment of hesitation and you'll be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without breaking a sweat. I couldn't help but just stand there as a stump. Until I heard her calm, melodic laughter hidden underneath the beastly mask.
Видел бы ты свою маску, сладенький.
I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Sweet? Did she say sweetie? I got embarrassed, went right up to my hair roots. We had seen a fox in a zoo once when we went there with Dad, but it had patchy fur, was grey and skinny. But this girl was fiery color and furry, just like in fairy tales. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers that were searching for the dog's treat stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object.
Ничего,
You'll see.
скоро проснутся настоящие звери.
The real beasts will wake up soon.
Спроси-ка лучше у них, Где они взяли свои человеческие лица?
You should ask them where they got their human faces. A girl's shadow was dancing in the lamp's light. The dog yapped in agreement. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Cold wind instantly covered my hole it created with snow. The dog rushed to dig it out, wanting to get its treat, and the fox girl just snorted. Now I was so embarrassed I wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark outside of the electric circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even more thick. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in its inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the weird girl I didn't
Так
know.
ты в школу идешь?
So, are you going to school?
Ах, ну какой же дурачок!
Oh my, you are a real dummy.
Так ничего и не понял.
Don't you get it? Well, I was trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me, calling me a dummy and all. I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog.
А ты чего обзываешься?
Why are you so mean?
Не хочешь отвечать, и пожалуйста.
Don't answer if you don't want to.
Никто не требует.
It's not like I care. Still, something froze me in place, tugged me toward the dark figure. A mysterious appearance, her voice that was velvety and just languid enough. I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn.
Ой, да не дуйся.
Oh, stop pouting.
Иди-ка лучше.
Look here.
Ты нравишься Жульке.
Zulka took a liking to you. The dog was digging through the snow with sharp movements, snoring loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of a nearby house, and its timbered front through the white mist. The tip of her flake nose was shining under the lamp's light,
И не только ей.
and maybe someone else too. I went red again, like a boiled crayfish this time. Is she talking about herself or someone else? I hoped that the semi-dog would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before
А
asking,
кому еще я нравлюсь?
and who's that person? I waited, counting my heartbeat. The fox didn't reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's windows. She was reading them like a glass book. I wondered what she can see in those winter paintings. The stray stopped rummaging through the snow. It ran to me holding my object in its jaws. It ran to me, oh yeah, a mitten. Could it be the one I found in the forest? What was it doing here? What is it doing here? When I looked closer, I realized that it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep. A certain missing boy immediately came to my mind.
Эй, ты знаешь что-нибудь про Вову?
Hey, do you know anything about Vova? I imagined the scene, silhouettes dancing in the clearing. The dance on the night when Vova had disappeared. A boy who, when found, can provide a big reward and maybe save my family. I remembered my birthday when our parents promised to take me and Olya to Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long-anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console, visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, demanding to take me to the promised amusement park. That was the first time when Mom and Dad had a big fight. My greediness shattered their relationship. If only I could fix everything. Gather everybody I love and take them to Disneyland.
В ночь, когда пропал Вова, я, кажется, видел, как кто-то похожий на тебя плясал под моим окном.
On the night Vova had disappeared, I think I saw someone looking like you dancing under my window. It couldn't be true, but I felt like her mask became more sly. The fox was sniffing me out.
А что? Ты тогда испугался?
Oh, that got you worried?
За себя или кого-то
For
еще?
yourself or for someone else? Oh yeah, as soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened and cold sweat streamed down my spine.
Ну так слушай меня внимательно, мальчик по имени Антон.
Well then, listen closely, a boy named Anton.
Это большой и страшный лес.
This is a big and scary forest. The fox girl stepped forward menacingly,
И я не единственный его обитатель.
and I'm not its only tenant.
Другие звери уже знают о тебе.
The other beasts already know about you.
Берегись нас. Этой ночью мы опять придем.
Beware! They'll come again tonight. I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking.
Пока ты со своей семьей будешь спать, подкрадемся близко-близко и станцуем.
When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak really close and dance.
Макарену!
Macarena.
Чё?
Huh?
Эй, Макарена!
Hey, Macarena. Aye.
У тебя прямо челюсть отвисла, Антоша!
Okay. She's cute. Like, if not a bit like, okay, I secretly have a thing for girls like this. Just letting you know. Ah, look at you, your mouth is agape, Antonsha.
Видел он меня ночью у своего окна. Ага, как же!
He saw me near his window at night. Yeah, right.
А ты случаем не местный дурачок, нет?
Are you by any chance a dimwit? Yeah, I get that a lot. Thank you.
Меня не отпускают гулять так поздно.
Nobody would let me go outside that late.
Здесь, знаешь ли, дети пропадают.
Children go missing here, you know. I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She got me scared to death.
Ой, да не тереби ты окуляры свои.
Hey, why don't you stop fondling your glasses?
Я раньше тоже близорукой была.
I was also nearsighted once.
Лучше послушай меня. Может быть, ума наберешься.
Listen to me and maybe you become smarter. Yeah, sure, let's go.
Лисичку как обычно называют?
Remember what do they call foxes?
Плутовка?
Cunning? My words seemed to hurt her.
Ох ты ж!
Hey, what did you...
Ой, прости.
Sorry. Her laughter was akin to the jingle of a pair of silver bells.
Да шучу я!
Just pulling your leg.
Конечно, плутовкой.
Of course we're cunning.
Если ты ловкий и смелый, не боишься с плутовкой водиться, я, так и быть, помогу разыскать этого Вову.
If you're agile and brave enough to befriend a cunning fox, I'll help look for your vulva.
Ты же неспроста его ищешь, да?
There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply. Her insight was alarming.
Знаю, почему дети повадились соваться в наш лес.
I know why children have been swarming our forest recently.
Порой там можно найти много всякого интересного.
Sometimes you can find a lot of interesting stuff there.
Я вот однажды нашла целый сугроб конфет и
What?
купалась в нем. Да так что челюсть слиплась.
One day I saw a huge pile of candy once, and I swam in it until my jaws cramped. A pile of candy? I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice. I showed her another smile, a fake one this time.
Посмотрите-ка, какой недоверчивый.
Ooh, so wary.
Ну-ну, а что ты на это скажешь?
Well, what will you say to this then? Oh wow. She held out her hand in a furry mitten. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold at markets or in kiosks. I think I butchered that. Kiosks, small container type shops selling a wide assortment of products from bubblegum to vodka, clothing, or even home appliances. These types of shops were popular in 90s Russia and more often than not tied to criminal organizations. Wow. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper among the tasty treasures. A familiar name was on it, Turbo. A triangular fox face poked her nose toward me.
Угощайся.
Take some.
У меня их полные карманы.
My pockets are full of these. Listen, lady, you're weird. But I don't think taking candy from a stranger would be a good idea. Fuck. Am I going to die? I'll take it. I accepted the treat and catching a whiff of the girl's smell. Fur, fireworks, and citrus, the smell of holidays. My fingers tingled while I was carefully unwrapping the gum. Peachy aroma entered my nostrils, and something else, something unfamiliar but pleasant. The fruity cube ended up in my mouth. I started moving my morals, chewing the gum. It tasted like your usual Turkish gum, only my tongue went a bit numb. I couldn't believe my luck after opening the insert. Wow, a car. I looked at a Mercedes-Benz, an extremely rare and hence desirable collector's item for any boy from my previous neighborhood. My heart skipped a beat. I was barely able to tear my eyes off the insert, still stunned.
Это же...
This
Это...
is...
Теперь понял, что можно найти в лесу.
Now do you see what can be found in the forest?
Только на твоем месте я бы туда в одиночку не ходила.
Still, I wouldn't go there alone if I were you.
Тебе вон от жвачки в забу дыханье сперла.
You get so flustered over simple bubblegum after
А
all.
представляешь, что с тобой будет, если найдешь чемодан таких фантиков?
Imagine what would happen if you find a travel case worth of these.
Голову напрочь снесет. И пиши пропало.
It'll surely blow your mind. Unusual treats. Just like everything else about her. I carefully hid the insert in my bag, as if I was putting a rare butterfly in a can. The fox giggled. This is not how things are supposed to go on a Monday morning. Who are you? Sweet, you accepted the fox's treat. Nice. I refrained from asking that question. She wouldn't answer anyway, or she'll just lie. I really wanted to see what's behind her mask. I was becoming more and more sure that underneath it wasn't just a simple young girl.
Может, Вова тоже нашел сугроб сладостей и теперь кувыркается в нем?
What if Vova also found a snow pile with sweets and is now rolling in it?
Слушай, вдруг он решил остаться в лесу?
That's a nice way of saying someone's dead. Actually, what if he decided to stay in the forest?
Тогда, наверное, ему очень холодно в одной варежке.
He must be so cold without his second mitten then. The wind caught her words like smoke from a fire and carried them deep into the darkness, into the creepy thicket. The trees behind me creaked with their bony branches.
Или с ним что-то случилось в пути.
Or what if something happened to him along the way?
Что-то страшное.
Something terrible. The forest reacted to her words, became alive. It sniffed me out, perking up its ears just like a curious beast. The fox girl pierced me with her with her eyes again.
Дикие звери?
Wild beasts.
Это, по-твоему, страшно?
You find that scary?
Ну, не знаю.
Well, I don't know.
Не знает.
He doesn't know.
Уж не с двоечником ли я подружилась?
Oh my, have I befriended a dunce? I didn't like being called a dunce. Yet being friends with her sounded
Я
nice.
хорошист.
My grades are good.
Бел да пушист.
Really now?
Пойдешь со мной, хорошист Антон?
Will you come with me, good grades Anton?
Найдем твоего Вову И сам его спросишь, что он нашел в этой пуще.
We'll find Jovova and you'll be able to ask him what he found deep in the
Ведь
forest.
пока мы вместе, никто тебя в лесу не тронет.
As long as you're with me, nothing can hurt you in the forest.
Вот увидишь.
You'll see. Worms of worry writhed in my belly. Better run, whispered my mind.
Я
I
тебе
don't
не
believe
верю.
you.
Ты думаешь, я врунья?
Do you take me for a liar?
Да и пожалуйста, мне никогда никто не верит.
Whatever, you're just like everybody else. The girl sounded hurt, although I didn't know if she was genuine about it. She turned around as if she had immediately lost all interest in me. The gum felt bitter now. I remember my dad's favorite saying, "Where are your manners, son?" Indeed, this fox was kind to me.
Не обижайся, пожалуйста.
Please don't get mad.
Лисы бывают и добрыми.
Foxes can also be
Ну,
nice,
как в сказках.
like in fairy
Мне бы
tales.
только понять, что ты за лиса.
I just need to know what kind of fox you are. And the girl giggled, hiding the nose of her mask in her hands.
Тогда пойдем со мной в лес, и ты все обо
Then
мне узнаешь.
Then follow me into the forest and you'll get to know me. Jesus, where is this going? I can imagine one way, but yeah. I'm not going to explain what that way is.
Но не сейчас, а когда рассветет. А то тебя, бедного, всего аж потряхивает.
But not right now, when it gets bright. I mean, your whole body is shaking, you poor thing.
Того и гляди, кондрашка хватит.
I don't want you to get a stroke.
Ай да, провожу тебя до школы.
Hey, let me accompany you to school. After hearing this, the dog barked in agreement and started messing with the mitten. I leaned in, trying to grab the piece of handwear that almost ran away from me.
Ну, если тебе по pути,
Well, if we're going in the same direction, we went toward the school and lost. Fuck. We went toward the school and the lost dawn. Here and there, the lights came on in the windows of houses we passed, as if their inhabitants were sending us warning signs. Silhouettes lurked behind curtains, dogs let out occasional barks, spirals of grey smoke rose from chimneys, TVs bustled and dishes clanged in kitchens. We watched the village slowly rise from its slumber, while carefully treading the snowy wheeled trails. I walked in the left one and she took the right one. The dog was following right behind us. I expected the fox to bring up something weird again, but she stayed silent all the way to school, as if playing with me some game only she was privy to. She would only giggle from time to time when the dog sneezed from the snowflakes that fell on his nose. I was the first to break the silence.
так как тебя зовут?
So what's your name?
А, ну конечно.
Ah, here it comes.
Имена, имена, имена.
Names, names, names.
Людям непременно надо вешать ярлыки на все подряд.
You people always need to put labels on everything.
Ну и как бы ты назвал такую лису, как
What
я?
name would you like? What name would you give to a fox like
Даже
me?
не знаю.
I don't know,
Но я читал про лису по имени Алиса.
but I've read about Elisa the
А
fox.
что?
You know what?
Я не против.
I don't mind.
Пусть будет Алиса.
I'll be Elisa. Wow, okay. I couldn't understand if she was joking or not. I turned around as if looking for an answer. From the dark sky devoid of dawn, my silent questions were left unanswered. The school's outline was already in our sight. A giant brick box stuck in the endless night. Lights in its windows didn't bode well for me. The warden trees were guarding the schoolyard. Screams, childish laughter, and someone's whistling tore up the silence. I went here with Mom when we just moved, and the place looked cozy at the time. Empty corridors that smelled of polish, puffy snow outside. The second time I came along to get the books and just kept on imagining my peers rolling down the railings, grade schoolers running to the library, and teachers marching down the corridor with the air of self-importance around them. High schoolers were smoking at the entrance in track pants and wool caps perched on their foreheads. Their appearance destroyed the last of hopes for a cozy school. Their stingy eyes and the teeth yellow from nicotine, their smirks, all of it had the same gloomy effect as the cloudy winter morning. Absorbed by my thoughts, I completely forgot about my companion.
После уроков жду тебя на заднем дворе,
I'll wait for you at the backyard of the school,
возле повешенного.
near the hanged man.
Возле кого?
Near what? She just ignored my question. Near the hanged man, I would also be questioning this.
Не опаздывай.
Don't be late. I hesitated, blowing hot and cold again. Mom always said that when I would have trouble choosing between two options. Thinking about Mom helped me
Я
reply,
после школы сразу домой.
I'm going straight home after school.
Эх, Антоша, Антоша, это я тебя так просто отпустила.
Well, Antosha, I'm going to let you off the hook.
Другие же незаметно подкрадутся со своими улыбочками и вцепятся. Клещами не оторвешь.
But the others will creep up to you with their smiles and sink their teeth into you. Won't be able to shake them off as easily.
Попомни мои слова.
Remember my words. The fox opened her mouth in a wide yawn. What kind of trick is this?
Антоха!
Someone running in the distance called out my name. I instinctively turned around. A huge snowball whizzed past my shoulder and hit the dog. It whimpered and ran toward the spring. The darkness devoured it. The fox girl was also nowhere to be seen. She dissolved into frosty air. Or was she hiding in the shadow? I gulped and swallowed the gum. Unlucky. After taking a deep breath, I went toward the school, toward the cutlets in dough, toward the light raining down onto the snow. Let's look around. Whose nest is this, I wonder? A thieving magpie? Then it probably has all sorts of shiny things in it. Pieces of colorful glass, bottle caps, polished coins, or child braces. A tall man was standing near the gate, puffing out clouds of smoke into the wind. He didn't look like a teacher. He was a PE guy, maybe. Carefully studied his face that looked like it was cut from a piece of granite, and his hair looked that was holding down a cigarette. He was playing around with keys and staring back at us. The light from the cigarette was reflected in his eyes that were sitting deep in his eye sockets. I froze in place. The hulking man lazily tore off his eyes from us and walked toward the road. There was a fresh-looking Volga parked nearby, with one of its front wheels perched up on the icy curb. Black like soothe. As if it was straight out of a horror story Dad loved to tell me when we hid in the attic during a thunderstorm. I remembered him always wearing a sad smile while mentioning the black car that snatched children. He would say, "It looked like a funeral car on the inside, white curtains and all. And it has DSC in its license plate. Do you know what that means? Death to Soviet children." Christ. Funny I was born in the USSR too. A buzzing crowd of upper-class men with their winter hats tipped to the side. I better not draw their attention. I could hear muffled voices behind the doors, saw blinking lamps. Darkness creeped along the windows, and it felt like the school was drifting in open space like a lonely lost spaceship. After going to the second floor, I noticed a crowd around the notice board. Everyone was taking part in a lively discussion. I moved closer and took a look at some things everyone was interested in through a wall of backpacks. There was a piece of paper with something printed on it glued to the left of the notice board. Attention, child missing. Vova Matyokhin, 10 years old. Vova Matyokhin, 10 years old, grade 4, B. He left his home on January the 5th around 4 p.m. and never returned. Was last seen at the bridge over the Smorodina River. He was wearing an orange coat with a hood, a black wool cap, a scarf, and mittens with green stripes. Might have had a plastic toy gun on him. Features: 142 centimeters tall, skinny brown hair and green eyes. Please call these numbers if you have any information of Vova's whereabouts. Child missing. Vova Matyokhin, that was his name. A 4th grader. On that grainy printed, Vova looked dead, with a black mouth and dark, empty eye sockets. Could it be that the darkness dwelling deep in the forest invaded his pores and mutilated his face? A plastic toy gun couldn't protect him from the whispering branches and the howling wind. Empty eyes of the lost boy pierced through my soul, as if pleading. Unable to meet his stare, I turned around and rushed to the window, took a seat on the windowsill. The corridor was slowly filling with children in groups of few. Nobody paid me any mind. This kind of looks like the inside of my psychiatric hospital. Like, so in the psychiatric hospital, there were rooms with numbers on them, and you were assigned to a room with at least 2 other people. And then the hallway was wooden. In the darkness of school toilets, child voices were hammering a nursery rhyme.
Для медведя, для лисы, зайчик кушать принеси.
For the fox and for the bear, bunny, tasty meals prepare. I turned my head toward them, trying to get a better look at their features, but then my attention was stolen by a loud clicking sound. A female teacher marched down the corridor with her chin raised up high. Her heels were hitting the floor like miniature hooves. A girl was trailing her every step. She was also looking pompous, stopping along the way and whispering some secret in her friend's ear. She was probably a class rep since she was carrying an attendance register book.
Екатерина, возьми, пожалуйста.
Ekaterina, take this please. The teacher opened the classroom door and the crowd of children swarmed in, screaming and pushing. Out of all of them, a tall, red-haired fat boy caught my attention. Jesus. God, that was funny. His face was full of blisters. He looked like the inside of a pomegranate. A bad feeling rose up the hair on the back of my head. I've seen boys like him before. Unsettled eyes, cackling laughter. The girl who was a smaller copy of the teacher warned the boy with a wave of her hand and entered the room through the clearing in the crowd. Some other guy stood in the way of the crowd, and the redhead immediately shoved him. Move your legs, moron! The boy flew headfirst, flailing his hands, trying to keep his balance. The fatso burst out laughing, and a couple of kids joined his nasty cackling. Their laughter sounded like someone was snipping with huge garden scissors. The classroom sucked all of the kids in. The corridor stood empty. I wanted to grow roots and stay on the windowsill. Just a handful of lampposts outside were battling the darkness, writhing like fluorescent fish in the black ocean. Okay guys, I'm going to stop here for the day. I'm just going to save it in this empty slot. Yeah, this one. Cool. And I'll see you later or tomorrow in another episode. Bye guys.
Bye bye.